if possible. Welcome back to coverage of Windmill 15 here in a very damp Amsterdam. Benjamin Rees back on the commentary alongside Sean Colfer for this game from the mixed division. Ghost wearing the neon green against Black Sheep wearing the what do you call this colour?
Forest green.
Yeah, we'll go with forest green. Not very often you see green on green match up, really. And this is a good match that shows kind of the international flavour of Windmill. Ghost making their way over from South Africa and Black Sheep ostensibly from New Zealand.
Yeah, a lot of these players based, a lot of the Black Sheep players anyway, based internationally. Large portions of them from New Zealand originally.
Trying to squeeze that one down the far sideline, and miscommunication. It's just going to go out of the far side, and you can see in the background there those cardboard car tents that many people are utilising this windmill. Very ecologically friendly. I must admit, I'm a little bit sceptical of how well they hold up in this weather.
Yeah, they are essentially made of paper, so we'll see.
So the Ghost O-line going to get another crack at this one. Swinging around the back. Now centering and looking deep, but that throw is undercooked. I think the Black Sheep defender might have had position on it already, and it's just gonna squeak its way underneath those pallets by the fire pit. One of the things you might have missed last night was the late night fire pit NBA Finals watch party.
I did not go to that. I very much wanted to watch the game, but I was exhausted from travelling. So
I do not blame you. But I think it's safe to say that our broadcast colleague Steph Rapazzo is a very happy Canadian this morning.
Yeah, we were talking about it on the way here in the car. He's a big Raptors fan, so I'm
So Black Sheep now. Just a late catch in the backfield for the moment. A little bit behind, and when the disc is wet and slippery, those catches tend not to stick. Goes to put it deep, try and milk it into the end zone. Not able to. Defender does a good job dropping off, taking the runner. Tries to squeeze it through into the middle of the pitch. The 69 now for the South Africans, swinging towards the far sideline. Fakes the hammer. I like that, just put it maybe a little bit in their mind that could go. Instead it's the around break. Looking very patient, not really particularly flustered, but not a huge amount going on downfield. A little bit of creativity trying to get that throw to gain some yardage. Still getting high, he's able to dish it into the centre. Continuing around, mid comes in, but it's a bit late. And this, again, just trying to get themselves reorganised. High release flick is going to be gobbled up by the Black Sheep defence. Just not enough movement going on, and they might put it deep immediately. They do. Maybe a little bit undercooked. That's a nice contested D. Slapped it away. Had a an unfortunate situation in our last game on the very last point where there was an incident of catch your D's. That time didn't quite need to.
The high release flick into the end zone there is from an Estonian player who they found on the Windmill pickup page. It's the first time she's met her team this morning and has the confidence to throw a high release flick into the end zone.
Love it. It didn't quite work, but that doesn't mean I don't like the creativity and the idea behind it. This is one of the great things about Windmill. Obviously, it attracts players from all over the world, and even if you don't have a team, players can sign up on the Windmill pickup page, and if people need extra legs, they can have a look there and maybe pick up someone who wants to make an impact in this tournament. To the centre now. Downfield, trying to squeeze a reset through, pick a high release, but just a little bit of miscommunication. I don't know if the rain's got into their heads a little bit, but just not looking quite on the money. Is Hutchison going to put this one deep? That's a nice put, right on the money. The lefty winding up the arm and unleashing that big deep put. Dumping it off now, Hutchison has it back into the centre. A little bit of I.O. to the front of the zone. Thinks about the force. Just said, looks around, sets it back. Just playing it around the backfield. There's another cutter wide open. Black Sheep break on the first point of the game. It took them a couple of tries, but they do get it in the end. Take a 1-0 lead, but this is going to go back on a pick, I think.
I was going to say it's both teams seemingly struggling to get to grips with the conditions of it. You can see the distance wobbling a bit as it's coming out. It's very, very slippy. It has been raining reasonably heavily for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Couldn't get it the first time, but it does work on the second attempt. No pick that time, so Black Sheep will take a 1-0 lead in this very wet Friday morning in Amsterdam.
Yep, this is just what you want to start a tournament. It's going to be, that ground is going to get churned up pretty quickly, and it is going to be very wet and probably very cold for these players, considering they're only wearing, a lot of them are only wearing shirts. I can't see that many layers out there.
Yeah, this is a very, very different scene to the way the grass was last year. We had a huge dry spell. It almost looked like the savannah out there. But this time the grass is a lot greener, but I don't know how long that's going to last. You can begin to see already little patches get churned up.
Yeah, I think both these teams are also going to take this game to get to grips with each other a bit. Both teams have got a lot of pickups. Black Sheep have got a lot of people who have been living in the UK, living elsewhere, players from Ireland as well. So both these teams are going to, in the early part of the game, maybe have some teething errors as they get to grips with each other.
The rain coming down pretty solidly. We're just about shielded by an umbrella here, but it can only do so much.
Thankfully, it's not windy, so we're not getting horizontal rain.
Oh, that is the worst. So we'll see this Ghost offense come out once more. Let's get their first point of the game. Underneath pass goes. Good colour coordination there, relatively matching the tights to the jersey. Not that easy with the jersey in this colour. Tries to find the reset. Can't get it through, instead looks downfield. It's a little bit clustered, it has to say, taking onto the face mark there, but Patch wouldn't stick in those gloves. Now tall Tom White, gonna lash it deep.
Looking for the well-known pass for anyone who played against Cambridge Mixed a couple of years ago. Tom White to Tess Batozzi. They're a couple, and they're both very, very good.
So Ghost are going to get another chance at this one.
Tom wearing his Clapham shorts there as well. Played in Clapham last year at Worlds.
Yeah, certainly a player of some repute. Takes the around, sliding to the knees, just keep it alive to the South Africans. Little dish off. Looking downfield and a monster foot block from Tom White. Wow.
It always helps when you've got those long levers, just putting that foot out and blocking that hook.
Yeah,
tip of his toe.
It's big. What, size 13s probably?
Must be.
Bit of wind begins to pick up now. Actually, begin the disc on the sideline. Try and work it off. Oh, I'm not quite sure that's what they had in mind, but you like the focus, making sure that they can atone for their teammates' errors. Trying to squeeze it down the far side. I don't know if it's ever going to come back in bounds. Tried to toe the line and couldn't quite get it to do so.
Yeah, Emma with the throw there, Melodian. She has played for the Australian mixed teams and big teams in the past. She was telling me earlier she's a little at practice, so she's looking to work herself back in, but she's a very, very good player, and I'm sure we're going to see her making a difference in this game sooner rather than later.
So the Kiwis can't capitalise on that foot block. And now the deep shot comes. There's a defender in coverage, but he can't get there in time. Bid comes through from the receiver, but he couldn't get his hands on it either.
I think if you go back and look at the throw, you'll see the thrower caught it up the line, that really nice inside cut, and turns around and looks for Tom before he throws it. That foot block is the kind of thing where he's going to be in his head for the rest of the point. Even if that makes a difference by a couple of feet on that huck, that's made a difference because he's drifted all the way out.
Game of fine margins. Swinging all the way across the fields to initiate possession. So back into the centre. Here is the aforementioned White, putting it deep, looking for a target on the far side of the end zone. Makes the catch. Ooh. Hit the board pretty hard.
They're calling it a goal.
Yeah, so I think she had control of the disc, took a couple of steps inbound, and then maybe seeing the board just kind of dropped and tried to stop her momentum, prevent her clattering too hard into those pallets.
I was talking to one of the Black Sheep players earlier and described her as their sprinter queen, so clearly she's one of the people they're going to be looking for going on.
Yeah, you can see just contact with that, so they're deciding that the catch is still good. Black Sheep take a 2-0 lead in this game.
It's a very English influence line there for Black Sheep. On the left, we've got Petra Horvath. Lives in New Zealand now, but played for Thunder and Tide in London for several years. Marius with the disc. Marius Hutchison plays for Birmingham and Kapow. We've got Nick Panu, based in Liverpool at the moment. Charlie Galloway, long-time Perth player, based in London. And on the far right, we've got Rory Brennan, who's Australian, also based in London, playing with Fire. So, as I said before, a very internationally influenced team.
It's nice to see players crossing the country divide and uniting to come to tournaments like this very wet Windmill. So the ball goes up from Hutchison. Caught just shy of the end zone and swung into the centre. And just going to go through the hands. Again, the wet disc playing havoc with the ghost receivers. And into the end zone. Oh! Couldn't get it the first time round, but fortunate to pop up nicely to get it at the second attempt. You can see the little look like, oh, I got away with that one.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. And she's tried again and caught it nicely. Petra, that was a herd-to-herd connection there. Charlie Galloway to Petra Horvath. I'm not sure she caught it exactly as she would have wanted to, but they all count.
Is it a herd of sheep? Yeah, it must be. Obviously, it's a herd of sheep. Yeah, so that,
We're still good. We're still good.
So there's those. So you can actually still work. You see it again here on the replay. Just a little bit of outside-in shape. Pops up out of the hands, but snags it again with an outstretched right hand on the second attempt. So Black Sheep in control early in this game. 3-0 up. Games, as we mentioned, to 70 minutes in the Swiss draw rounds. And when the hooter goes, you finish the point and that's it. Doesn't matter whether you're massively in front, massively behind, or even if you're tied. You've got to live with it. The Black Sheep looking in control of this early on in this game, just over 10 minutes gone.
Do you find that the rain is usually an equaliser, Benji? What do you think the difference is going to be with these kind of conditions in this tournament?
It's interesting to see how long this keeps up. I think just generally adverse weather favours players with good fundamentals. If you can make sure that you're always generating lots of spin on the discs, like always getting your body behind catches, creating a little backboard, so even if you can't get it first time round, you're giving yourself a little bit of a target, just a chance to get a second effort at it. On the far sideline, into the centre of the pitch. So it comes underneath, thinking about the low release, instead just flips it towards the break side. Full fake, trying to space out those Black Sheep defenders. Fakes the low release. Doesn't take it though. There's some sort of stoppage. Looks like a pick. Yep, see the hand signals go up. Now checks back in. Looking for the beautiful low release flick into the end zone. It's a nice way to Ghost to get their first point.
Yeah, Ghost clearly trying to get him on the disc there. That was a really, really nice throw from a low position, throwing to cutter coming across pretty laterally. It's a very difficult throw to pull off, and put it right in the breadbasket.
Yeah, scoreboard. It's got the right score, just not quite the right way around at the moment. 3-1 to Black Sheep, the current scoreline. Windmill using gender ratio rule B for this tournament, which is the end zone dictates. So at the flip, choose an end zone that dictates the gender split for the first half of the game, and that dictating end zone then switches at half time. So Black Sheep up 3-1. I don't know quite what's going on over the speakers.
Someone who's struggling with their voice, I think.
Sounds suspiciously like Elle.
I'm not sure she's going to get through all the games that she's got to commentate, considering the state of her vocals.
Yeah, looking for a high release back over the top. Now song back into the centre. Looking relatively fluid now. Feels like Black Sheep have found their feet, or at least their hooves in this game. Cheeky little high release. Back into the centre. This zone from Ghost is slowing them down a little bit, but it's not generating turns aggressively. Now they're just working their way through. Good job with the handler running through and squeezing it into the far sideline, jamming it in the jam hole. The catch sticks, and Black Sheep take a 4-1 lead now.
Yeah, Ghost did not to know it, but I would say one of the worst things you can do against this Black Sheep team is throw a zone on them. They have so many players that are going to be comfortable with the disc. They can huck it if they need to, they can make the extra pass, they can follow the disc around, they can really just generate movement however they want to. So I don't anticipate we'll see Ghost going back to that kind of look too frequently.
One of the things that I've always find helpful against zones is players who are very multiple. Whether you can use them deep as a receiver, they know their spacing to maybe pop in, or they're more than happy with a disc in their hands as well, just waiting for those spaces to open up and take the swings. If you can constantly have players switching roles, it creates confusion in the mind of defenders.
Definitely. I think another thing that helps is players that can throw everything. So
yes,
people like Marius Hutchison, you know, he can throw that swing, you know, he can throw that pop into the middle, but you know if there's someone open deep, he's going to bang it to them and get that goal. And I think Black Sheep have got about 4 of those players that I saw on the last point. So it's going to be tough to throw a zone against them. But you're right, that multiplicity of ability is definitely helpful.
Yeah, there's no wind, but the rain is pretty heavy, so maybe just thinking if we can just make them make lots of passes, we can have maybe something slip through the hands. Maybe they're not going to attempt the overhead with the disc a little bit more slippery.
If they think that, then they definitely have the net barriers.
That ball's going to land out of bounds. Pulling's not been at its peak in this game, I think it's fair to say.
I agree. Maybe the rain is having an effect, coming out of the hand slightly early. We're trying to put a bit more power on it.
So just over 15 minutes gone in this game. Nice little slap of hands. Tom White back on the mark, trying to make a nuisance of himself once more. Cassie comes underneath. Now trying to work the disc down on this near sideline. Swinging all the way across the field using the full width of the pitch. But just can't get it to work in the backfield. And another break opportunity for the Kiwis.
It's unfortunate. Another pickup. Johnny from Brighton, Johnny Sadler. Just taking his eye off it as he caught it.
And in these wet conditions, that's something you can ill afford to do. Just taking a second there to wipe the disc. I always think it's worthwhile to sacrifice just 1 or 2 seconds of the stall count just to make sure you've got a firm grip on it. There's no point throwing it to someone if it's just going to slip out of your hands. Disco's looking for White. What a grab from Tom White. Big man gets down to make the catch, and Black Sheep break once more. They're like a 5-1 lead now.
He turned for it over his left shoulder and recovered really quickly and really well to make that nice layout grab in the end zone. Good throw from Emily as well.
Yeah, something you see tall people struggle with often is getting those low catches, but didn't really show any signs of a struggle there.
Having played against him, the most difficult thing about him is that he is a giant. He's about 6'5", but he moves with the nimbleness, I suppose, of a much smaller person. He's got great footwork. He's very quick.
I was going to say, are you saying he's got great feet for a big man?
He's got great feet for a big man.
Good. Okay.
Sticks every time you put it to him.
We can cross that cliche off the list.
Yeah, there we go. Tom Crouchy White.
So Black Sheep in control early on in this game, 5-1 up. Benjamin Rees alongside Sean Culver in the rain here at Windmill 15.
It's definitely unpleasant.
It's not the nicest conditions I've ever commentated in. I'll tell you that. But would I want to be anywhere else? I mean, maybe in the Iggy, but apart from that, no, I certainly wouldn't. I'm very glad I brought spare pairs of trousers.
Yeah, I didn't. So this is going to be. I've got some shorts, which I'm not sure are going to be entirely helpful, but there we are.
Yeah, maybe not. Well, hopefully this will all pass through. We'll get some clear skies later in the day. I can see it beginning to brighten up in the distance.
A bit more optimistic man than me.
I was going to say that might just be reckless optimism. So here's Sadler trying to get it into the end zone, right the way down the middle of the pitch. He's clearly excited to get Ghost back on the board, stopping the bleeding, making the scoreline 5-2. That was much better from Ghost.
It was a really nice IO flick to get it to Johnny Sadler. Really good backhand, good cut in the end zone. Gave him a very, very big area to aim at for a nice score. Nice quick offense. They needed that.
5-2 for Kiwis lead, but this is one of the games like this and why I love Windmill. Just seeing two teams from completely different parts of the world come to another different part of the world to play Ultimate and to party hard.
You can see the spirit's been great as well. Lots of hand slaps, lots of chatting between the teams. That's the kind of thing you like to see at this kind of tournament.
Yeah, it's the aforementioned IO flick, and the spacing is good. Cutters don't all immediately flood downfield and gum up that middle of the field. It leaves the cutter in isolation in the end zone.
Defender's got no chance. I was wandering around watching some of the opener women's games in the last game slot as well, in the far corner of the venue before it started raining. There was a lot of one-sided games with all the teams that you'd expect to be winning. but I'm sure we're going to get some interesting games in the next round. Open women and mixed. As the Swiss draw puts teams that are all closely matched together.
All hail the almighty algorithm. So that ball is going to land out of bounds once more. Going to be another brick. I'm getting very, very doubtful. The rain is just relentless. I thought if I stayed here, then I'd be fine because there'd be a nice dry spot underneath me, but the water's just seeped underneath.
Yeah, it's everywhere. This the Kagul is working brilliantly. It's perfectly fine.
That's an expensive looking deep, but well, I'll take the benefit of the doubt and say that he slipped rather than just going for a gratuitous bid.
Josh Broughton, not sure he's usually a deep cutter or used to laying out, I'll say, but a valiant effort.
So a break chance here for Ghost. This would be their first of the game.
One thing I would say about Ghost, they seem to be stacking a long way away. Every time they pick up the disc, their front of stack is a good 15-20 yards away. That's making it really difficult in these conditions.
Black Sheep setting up a poach in this underneath lane. That line cut goes and they're going to put it deep, blading over the defence, but it was well read. Who would just about retain possession afterwards from Black Sheep. Maybe telegraph that look a little bit. Just got the far sideline, faking deep. It's isolating. Hutchison as the reset. Here's Broughton. Has to take off towards the end zone. Just playing it around the back instead now, the Sheep. Looking into the end zone. Oh, it's going to pop up. Couldn't get a hand around it, and Ghost defender knocks it out of the sideline.
Looked like it was a 50-50 disc, but I think the Black Sheep player had position there. If she'd just been able to get her hands around it, that's probably a score, but a little too high for her. Nice bid though. Just getting up. Yeah, she's got position, it's just a bit too high.
There's not really much wind, but there's a tiny bit of a breeze, and maybe that just enough to pop it up. And I mentioned the same look, that's stacked quite far away. Going to poach in the front lane, and they do a very good job of swinging the disc across the field, isolating that poached player. It's a nice snag with that gloved right hand. Isolates a reset into the centre of the pitch. Continuation there. Throws low but caught. Guys looking pretty good now. A good job of getting it off that sideline, giving themselves really both sides of the pitch to work with. Big around break right to the far side of the pitch. Thinks about the continuation down the line, doesn't take it. Looks off the inside out as well. And eventually has to try and force it in on a high stall. Broughton just about gets enough of a hand to it.
You could see him early on looking for that inside. I think after the success he had with the throw going into the end zone to score a few points ago. But as you say, high stall, bounce it up just a little bit, and Josh Broughton gets underneath it quite nicely.
After they've done such a good job of isolating resets in this early on in the stall count, that time just got too end zone happy. Broughton has it now. Turns into the centre of the pitch. Looking deep. Hutchison's going to try and chase it down, but he's not necessarily a player who's known for his deep speed. I think it's fair to say.
I think that's fair to say, yes. Another situation where they've got a handle going deep. No valiant effort layout this time, though, which I would say is a black mark for various Hutchison.
Yeah, there was a look there, but just maybe that's a case of just first game of the weekend, knowing exactly how far out you need to put it in front, how much flight you need on that disc.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a situation as well. Rory, Brennan, and Marius Hutchinson not sure how much they play together, so it's a case of getting to know your teammates.
So Ghost bring the disc in once more. So underneath cut will initiate the possession. Tries to isolate the dump. Instead, putting it downfield. Broughton's going to mop that up. Now there's definitely blue skies coming out now, Sean. I'm not just being optimistic. You can see them.
I can see sunshine. I'd forgotten what it looked like, Benji.
Oh, great layout deep. Raw was just guilty of waiting for it to arrive, and Ghost just ghosted through.
Nice. Yeah, I think he thought he had a lot more time than he had there, and that is just a really, really good block.
Well, we'll see if they can capitalise on that turnover. Trying to blade it into the end zone, and they do break. Ghost is still alive in this game.
Coming back to life. Really nice point there, considering a lot of turnovers from both teams, but galvanised by that fantastic layout block.
Yeah, 5-3 to Black Sheep, the current score, but that's what Ghost needed. Just get a break on the board, let Black Sheep know that they're very much still in this game. I think I might be time to put the end zone down.
Hallelujah, yeah, stop raining.
Just trying to shake this umbrella off out of the way.
Have you broken it?
I don't think so. I just don't understand how it works. Well, how does this work? This is a very strange umbrella. Wow.
Thrilling commentary, ladies and gentlemen, in the stream.
It's funny what rain does to you, doesn't it?
Mistakes were made.
An umbrella with the main part seemingly off-center. I don't know whether it's supposed to help cover valuable things like our commentary equipment here, but Benji's just putting it back
I'll
up.
tell you
He's
what,
given up. He's given up.
I don't trust this weather.
All right, might as well cover up the monitor. There we go. There we go. Just in case. Just in case.
So 5-3 to Black Sheep, the current score. Ghost getting their first break of the game. It looked for a bit like maybe Black Sheep would run away with this, but Ghost have got some fight in them.
Yeah, they're working very hard, cutting well, competing on D. Black Sheep are, making those mistakes that teams who don't know each other or haven't played with each other can't make. Ghost look a little more cohesive at the moment.
Sadler going with the blading flick pull, but it just landed out of bounds. So just checked in. And there's a big blade going deep. And another flying layout block from Ghost. They are up for this, Sean.
They really are. That's clearly a case of brick the pull and sling it to the big man. I mean, it's just dropped in front of Tom White. It's a great layout block.
It is a fantastic block. See it again on the replay.
He's worked himself in front of Tom there. Wow, that's really good.
Sensational stuff from the South Africans.
Times it perfectly.
He made that look. The thing is, he made that look like it was easiest thing in the world for him.
He did. Really, really difficult at full speed, making sure you don't impact the offensive player, give away a foul. Make sure you play safely. It's very, very tough to do.
So brief stoppage for a pick, but everyone's going to resolve their positions. No force. Tom White's going to humble his way up and put that on. See him looking downfield, trying to work out where the next options are coming from. Just about squeezing that down the far sideline. Communication from the sidelines. Trying to help their teammates here, Sadler. Winds the backhand up deep, and that's going to just go out of bounds.
About 20 degrees off. It's a great throw if it was a bit straighter.
Yeah, the angle's not quite right on that one.
See what he's looking for, though. There was an open cut downfield.
We're very close into rainbow territory, I think, here.
Are we talking about the water shining through light, or is it about the team?
I was talking about the refraction of light through water. Is that refraction? Black Sheep isolate the reset. Here's White. Another Sheep looking for a shot to the end zone. Past the defender, and Tom White's able to melt that in. Comfortable clap catch in the end. Defender bid early but couldn't get there, and it made the catch comfortable for White. So Black Sheep take a 6-3 lead in this game now, half an hour in.
Another nice throw, another connection between Emelodian and Tom White. Slightly more comfortable for White than the previous one. But some good offense from Black Sheep there, working it on both sides of the field until they finally got that good shot into the end zone. Just over the mark. He's got close to it. It's another good bid from Ghost. As you say, Benchy, they're clearly up for this game.
Yeah, they didn't come all the way to Amsterdam to not throw themselves about a bit. I hope they put that same energy into the party as well.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure everyone will.
Are we going to see you at any of the festivities? Maybe see you in the mingle?
You'll see me on the outskirts, perhaps. I'm not one for being in the centre.
What about beer race? You in?
I have not been approached by anybody to be on their team at this point, but I'm open to offers, certainly. Once I've got my media responsibilities out of the way, of course.
Of course.
But I'm open to entry if we can find a good collective.
I think there should be enough of us in team live stream to get a decent number of people in. So you see, they're just a nice little shot of the Iggy Square, where everything goes on later this evening. There's so much to do at Windmill. There's obviously the pool competitions that happen as well. A real festival of ultimate is Windmill. So here's the Ghost offense. Gives a round for the backhand. Downfield. Little lefty high release. That is some creativity, and now Ghost putting it deep. They've got a receiver there, and it's right on the money. That's a great point from Ghost.
Love it. Cheeky throw, great hook. Clearly wide open in the end zone. It's a really, really good offensive point.
Yeah, 6-4 they trail, but again, after a slightly shaky start, they've found their feet a little bit now in this game. Do Ghost have feet?
It depends what kind of ghost you're talking about, I suppose. If you're looking at a ghoulie, someone that's walking through, you see those stories about leaving footprints in like salt and stuff, don't you? So some ghosts have feet on top.
I guess maybe not like a Casper, the friendly ghost sense. It's more wispy thing.
Yeah, true. But there was the conditions potentially starting to help Ghost a bit more. They can be a bit more expansive. That lefty throw, I'm not sure that goes if it's still very, very wet and damp and difficult to grip that disc.
Yes, I think it's drying out a little bit. The sun beginning to come through. I think it might have stopped raining.
It's definitely stopped raining.
Okay, I'm going to try and put this down.
I've noticed as well, I was thinking that my jeans weren't getting that damp because my jumper was soaking it all up, so hopefully it doesn't get too cold.
We can only dream. So Ghost getting ready to pull. This effort's a bit better if it's comfortably caught, and Black Sheep will try and get things moving quickly before this Ghost defense can get set. Here's Braun. Nice letting a reset. Pivoting around. Didn't quite have the eye contact that they wanted. Has to put it deep instead. They do find a receiver. Braun in the end zone. He's open, but Handler's looking the other way. Just about able to work around, but it pops up, and Braun's there at the back of the end zone. Make the catch. 7-4 Black Sheep lead now.
Not 100% sure that was for Braun, but bails it out, gets there, backs up his receiver. Pretty good offensive point from Black Sheep. A couple of times they got quite high in the stall count and they had to send it downfield to get out of it, but they are ahead enough that they can afford those kind of slight risks.
Yeah, we've talked a bit about how Black Sheep have quite a large contingent based in the UK, but they're still bringing that Australasian flavour with them as well. Brought another one of these players who's originally from the Southern Hemisphere.
Another current Thundering Herd player. Current performer, there's quite a few Thundering Herd players in this game.
I'll tell you what though, these kits are a lot nicer.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not say anything we can't take back.
I'm just saying, like, maybe the Cow Prince had its time.
It's a turner.
What would a sheep print be like? Mock? Oh yeah, if I have to play in like a woolly jumper.
Yeah, I definitely favour that. Something like a jerkin back in medieval times.
I tell you what, in weather like this, you would be so slow.
Soaking it all up. Yes. If it was cold though, you'd be laughing.
Oh, Tuzzy nearly stole through there. Couldn't quite get there in time. Here's Sadler. Swinging on this sideline. Goes to look into the centre of the pitch. Sadler gets the disc as a reset. And backhand downfield. See him holding out that flick. Switches it to the backhand. Loses quite a few yards on the dump. See Sadler's a bit frustrated how disconnected goes look downfield. It's a nice up line. Throw goes up early enough. Snag with the right hand. Blading across the pitch. I don't know whether that was the target or not. Slightly awkward catch. And then nice backhand. Pivoting a little bit forward, using the full 360 degrees to get it around the mark. Into the end zone for the goal. And once more, Ghost just going back and forth with Black Sheep at the moment. Neither side able to pull away or kind of eat the gap for a while. Just trading for the past few points. 7-5 at the moment.
This stack seems to be working for them. The 3-4 there, it was very, very far away from the handlers. It's making it very difficult to get any early underneath movement, and it's kind of limiting their deep shots a bit. But once they get moving, they're finding a lot of space. So clearly this must be something that they've talked about, that they've decided is the best way to approach the game. They're getting a lot of space for the resets, particularly those insides up the field to get some easy yards. But I can't help but feel Black Sheep can potentially make this a lot more difficult for Ghost, perhaps poaching someone in that lane, everyone marking underneath, trying to gum everything up. But so far, the last 3 or 4 offensive points, something like that, Ghost have been performing very well and executing very nicely. So still 2 points in it, 7-5 to Black Sheep.
Nice and tight, just trying to get confirmation of what games we've got coming up on the streaming field for you in the next round. Obviously, we find out the games not too long before you do. Back to Open and Women's in the next round of action. It looks like we've got Cosmic Girls versus Heist from the women's division, and Heidi's versus Devon from the Open division. So 2 tasty matchups there. Cosmic Girls versus Heist is going to be, that's going to be spicy.
Very much looking forward to seeing Robin Fenning matched up against Sashi Mustafa.
Meanwhile, back at the matter at hand, here's Broughton for Black Sheep and stoppage for a book of them. Everyone's just going to make sure their positions are set. Just checks back in and immediately put deep. And Tom White's not going to have any trouble bringing that one in over the head of the defender. Calmly catches it back centre of the end zone. So that's going to bring us into half-time. Black Sheep 8-5 in the lead.
Coming out on offense to start the second half as well. It's been a good performance from them to kick the tournament off. I think they were very, very strong in the early few points particularly. Ghost to come back into it a bit more. They're starting to move their offense quite nicely. They're not getting a great deal of turnovers at the moment, either through Black Sheep mistakes or generating themselves some blocks. They've got to really kind of ramp up that offense. They've got to come, defense. Sorry, they've got a couple of really nice layout blocks early. But they need a few more to get back in this game.
Yeah, Black Sheep, a team we've seen at Windmill before, and it's good to see that they've made the trip back over here and they're having a lot of success early on in this game. But you can't take your foot off the pedal in the Swiss draw, obviously. You need to make sure that you're winning every game as much as you can. You need to get that Swiss draw coefficient as high as possible, because you do see teams miss out on the brackets by just 1 or 2 points either way.
First time I played Windmill was with the Estonian national team, I think it was, and we finished, I think, 9th when we were going into knockouts, because there was a couple of games that we had very close games against teams that were lower on the draw. So it really does make a difference, and it can change your entire tournament. bit more pleasant at the moment, Benji.
Yeah, when the sun comes out, it's actually quite nice here. Who knew? I mean, everyone. We all knew. Who doesn't want to come to Amsterdam and come to Windmill?
Yeah, the music drifting across from the main tent.
Yeah, the Iggy resplendent in the background. See both teams going through their half-time preparations. There's the man himself. Big inflatable Herbie. Which I haven't seen Herbie walking around this weekend.
Not yet. Maybe they're saving him for the most impactful moment.
I don't know. I don't really know how well elephants do in the rain, actually, to be fair.
True. How much rain do they see? I suppose elephants live in India, don't they?
Well, it depends on whether it's an Indian or African elephant.
Yeah, but there's Indian elephants. They must see monsoon season or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, it does rain in Africa. It doesn't snow, though, famously. That's what Band-Aid told me.
I'm not sure that was an educational geography lesson for the Band-Aid song.
There's all sorts of activities to do for players here at Windmill in the Square. There's a twister. There's like a twister box, which I must admit I haven't tried. Is famously one of the most inflexible men on the planet. So there's other things that I think there's a dunk tank, which I'm very excited to get used. I will get Mike Palmer in the dunk tank. It will happen. It's right. He's not listening.
Are you going to be lining up to have a go?
Maybe. I think we can definitely persuade people to make use of it. There's a karaoke box as well. There's all sorts of little activities that go on here at Windmill.
Most famously, a ball pit.
Oh yeah,
the ball pit. I've been told by a number of people about this ball pit.
Yeah, ball pit, good place for sock wrestling. Sock wrestling?
I don't know what this is.
What? Do you know what sock wrestling is?
I feel like I'm the one in the majority here.
No, you're definitely. So basically, it is what you think it is. Get two people in an arena of your choice. For example, ball pit. You just got to try and steal the other person's socks.
I see. I thought you meant like I don't know, a thumb war, but with big toes. I'm not quite sure what you were talking about.
Oh, I see. No. You just got to try and steal the other person's sock. Great. It's
great
crack.
Sock wrestling or is that sock theft?
It's sock wrestling.
Okay, fair enough. I apologise for questioning the integrity of the name of the game.
It's not my game. It's the people's game.
It's the public's game. The great game.
So both sides coming out for the second half of this game.
Looks like we're starting with 4 men and Black Sheep on offense.
Yeah, the dictating end zone switching at half-time under gender ratio rule B, which is the same rule we'll see in place at the European Ultimate Championships.
It was interesting seeing the Rule A in place at the European Beach Ultimate Championships.
What do you think about the change of rules?
So to start with, my opinion was very strongly that I favoured Rule B because it adds another layer of strategy into the game. But to be honest, having watched EBUC and seen how it makes teams act, you really need very balanced squads with both your men and your women. And you need players in roles on both sides. So certainly Rule A forces you to be more balanced in what your squad looks like.
I think, I agree with that. I think it encourages more actual mixed ultimate, whereas, and actually I guess there's nothing stopping you when you're playing mixed ratio rule B, actually playing mixed ratio rule A technically.
Yeah, that's probably right. And I think one thing I've seen a lot of as a player who's played predominantly mixed for the last 3 or 4 years is a lot of teams who have male handlers and female cutters.
Yes.
There's some teams that are very, very successful in doing that, and some female cutters in the UK that I've played against that are outstandingly good. But Rule A, I think, forces you to have people, particularly women, that can handle and create from a different position than we've seen sometimes do in the past. So having been strongly in favour of Rule B, Rule A, I did like it. I didn't like what it did for the game, and I liked what it made the teams do.
It does make the game more equitable.
It does.
There was an interesting study that said even when teams were playing for women, they're still not necessarily getting the majority, like the same number of touches you would expect. So anything that encourages teams to play more proper mixed ultimate is good. This throw there from Black Sheep, so they can't capitalise on the old 2 for none, get the disc before and after half time. Ghost now can break to start the second half. That's a round break there. Oh, cheeky little push pass through. Do love a push pass. But not a lot going on downfield now. Squeezes it through to the reset. Swinging to the far sideline. Looking at the end zone, but again, there's not a huge amount going on there. There's a stoppage and just quickly check back in, but violation players didn't realize the stoppage had happened, so they're just going to go and reset their positions very quickly.
Very early foul.
Trying to move the mark around. Instead turns, finds that handler in the dumb. It's going to be a pick called. Just that cut coming too close to the handler, so creating a little bit of an obstacle.
Yeah, she pivoted out, just got in the way of the mark. Very, very slick offense here from Ghost. It's a couple push passes, maintaining their rhythm quite nicely. They're a little bit stuck just outside the end zone now. Great snag from that IO throw though. IO flicked to the end zone, looked like it was going to be behind the receiver, but just stuck a hand out, just reeled it in nicely.
So good start to the second half for Ghost, getting a break, making sure that Black Sheep cannot extend their advantage.
Black Sheep with the opportunity to come out and make that a 4-point game, back to a 2-point game, 8-6.
And obviously, even if Ghost can't come back into this game, keeping it close is never a bad thing in the Swiss draw. Always fascinating to see which matchups the Swiss draw machine spits out. Schedule wizard Tim and his crew do an excellent job putting everything together. Oh, did we tell you there's a new improved algorithm this year?
Is there? Do tell me about it.
They've made a couple of tweaks to it. I think the main one being that in the early rounds, the algorithm now takes into account geographic diversity, so you're less likely to be matched up against if there are teams which are around the same level, the matchups might have that propensity to switch slightly to prevent teams from the same country matching up against each other.
I like that. That's a good change, particularly as you say early in the tournament. I understand if you're late on in the tournament.
Exactly.
Teams against each other, they're just similar.
But you don't want to you don't want to fly halfway across the world to play a team from just down the road.
No, like the two American teams playing against each other, for example, would be a bad outcome for them, considering they, I'm sure, want to see what everyone's like in Europe.
Exactly, yeah. Nice round break, but again, just maybe a little bit late. Ghost defender steals through. Sadler now picking up. Chance to reduce the deficit even further. It's going to be a pick.
Johnny Sadler, peak bright, picking up a quick turnover and looking for that hammer as the first option.
That's the Brighton I fell in love with. I wonder if he can persuade Ghost to start playing some heads.
Felix is around, get it going.
Working into the front of the end zone. Beats the defender to the open side, and Ghost are very much still alive.
Double happiness there. Block and it looked like a high stall bailout break around. The receiver just stood waiting. Defender stole in front, and then she catches the goal as well.
Yeah, 8-7 now. It's good, like, whatever adjustments Ghost have made in the second half, their halftime team talk's certainly been effective for them. You see that they're always looking at the front of the end zone, gets nice and low, stops maybe any slight gust of wind getting too much of that. And Black Sheep taking a time out here, a little bit rattled to start the second half, so Ghost clearly have found another gear.
Yeah. Early in the game, they were trying to take some more expansive shots that weren't quite coming off. Black Sheep were getting a few blocks deep. Ghost have tidied up that offense. They're not turning it over unforced now, and their D has really stepped up. I said a little earlier on, they've got to start getting more blocks. Stop waiting for Black Sheep to throw it away. And 2 points, 2 blocks, 2 goals.
Yeah, it's the efficiency as well. In the past, in the first half when they generated turnovers, they didn't capitalise on them, they just gave the disc back. But in this second half, at both times they've got the disc, they've punched it in.
You'd expect this is a Black Sheep timeout. Need to regroup a little, talk about getting themselves back on track. They still have this lead. They're still in a good position. They're getting the disc here to make it into another 2-point advantage, but the way things are going, you're not betting against Ghost coming all the way back into this game.
Yeah, and if Ghost can break here, we're all tied up.
You see Heist and Cosmic Girls warming up. Figure of Dina Double Sky over there. Cosmic Girls.
Yeah, that's one of the matches I think people were very excited to see coming into this weekend. Heist with the #1 seed according to the prediction poll.
Not coming over here with full strength, but I'm sure they're still going to be a very good team. They've got a couple of very nice pickups, including one local pickup in all of us.
Yeah, those two played together on Yaka in the past, so not surprised to see them linking up again here. Cosmic Girls, I think, were 4th coming into the initial phase of pool play. Of Swiss draw play even, excuse me.
It's going to be very interesting to see how club teams like Heist and Cosmic Girls do against the plethora of national teams we have here. Could there be a spoiler in any of the divisions?
I think there's certainly potential. It just depends on how serious each team takes this tournament, because there's some of these club teams are real top level talent, but they don't necessarily come to Windmill to win. They come to party, to experience the tournament as a whole. It's not all about what goes on the field.
Certainly, when looking at the previewing the Open teams, you can look at the American teams who've got a very strong roster, but I think those teams are here to have a good time, play flawless on team.
And hopefully we'll see them in the beer race. So Black Sheep looking pretty assured and confident. They're creating nice separation on their cuts on this possession, and now they're going to lash it deep. That's a beautiful put if you can chase it down in time, back of the end zone. They're going to call it a goal. Nice hustle to put on the Jets a little bit. Nice way for Black Sheep to stop the bleeding. Yeah. 9-7 the current score.
That was a really nice point. Flow over to the break side. You can see she kind of double clutched it a little, thought about the throw, but backhand out into space. Good running down by the receiver. It's a really good point. And as you say, Benji, it was very important for them to get on the scoreboard and stop the rock. They managed to do that. Come out on D, try and get a block, and try and get back in the centre side.
So 9-7 the current scoreline. The Kiwis leading their South African counterparts. There just to chase down in the back of the end zone. 55 minutes gone in this game, 15 minutes before we wrap things up. Games come at you thick and fast at Windmill. 70-minute games, 75-minute slots, so there's not a huge amount of turnaround time. We have to get in and out of the booth very quickly.
Booth?
It's a figure of speech, yeah. The scaffold. Actually, it's a little more of a dark cloud has come overhead once more. I think we might have had our sunshine for a while.
Are you on the next game, Benji?
No, I've got a nice little break, mercifully.
Okay, inside 10, I think is going to be the option, because I agree that was great.
I wonder if the beer taps hooked up in Paradise. It's never too early. Just oil up the pipes.
Let us know, ladies and gentlemen, your thoughts. 11:15 in the morning. Too early, or is there no such thing as too early?
It's never too early somewhere. Ghost looking deep. This is spicy. There's going to be a maelstrom of receivers underneath it. Nice take from the number 20 shirt for Ghost. Looked like a pretty high stall punt, but if you're going to have a high stall punt, that's the way to do it.
I'm not sure that was. I think that was a call play, because looking at it, it was all women chasing it. I think they've called something to isolate one or more of their female cutters going deep, and that is a really good catch. She's gone all the way up to high point it above her defender, and that's very, very nice, and very quick, crucially, considering they don't have that long to get back in the game. Point for Ghost.
We'll see it here on the replay. See him fake that backhand just to move the mark over a little bit, create space to really wrench that forehand going deep. And there's a couple of players in the area. Ghost rip it out of the sky to reduce the deficit. Still one behind, 9-8 though. Nice to see this game's got tight into the late stages of the game after it looked like potentially it would be a bit of a blowout early, but Ghost have fought back well here wearing those neon green jerseys.
Yeah, what were we at, 5-1, something like that? It's great to see Ghost come back into this game, just maintaining that positive mindset all the way through.
Yeah, the question is, did they dig themselves too deep a hole? And even if they do come back, they would have thought that if we hadn't started so long, we could be even better in the Swiss Straw rankings. Mixed, there's such a large division, there's 40 mixed teams here this weekend, so getting that top 8 is so difficult. Every point really does matter. Here's Hutchison for Black Sheep. See, everyone looked around a little bit expecting the pick to be good, and there it goes. Nice slapping of hands downfield. There's a little bit of discussion about how long ago the pick was and where everyone needs to retake their position.
Back to the previous story.
So it really was a long time ago. Making sure everyone's just set. Just checked back in. White comes underneath. Downfield. Just intercepted for Hutchison. That lefty blading it around. It goes high, but it just bounces off the fingers. Frustrated with herself. Knows that she should have caught that one.
It's a tough catch, but it's a catch she can definitely make.
A player of her quality would always back herself to make that catch. So Ghost can level things up here. And this seems so unlikely at the early stage of the game.
Check those feet, Benji.
See White constantly looking around on the mark, trying to work out how he can adjust his positioning, and the disc is going to go deep. It's Spicy, it gives up position, and the disc actually got too far underneath it, so always difficult to read it when you're looking directly up. Breaks to White, nice fancy footwork, tipping toeing on the sideline. Swinging it across the pitch. Ghost doing a very good job of passing off receivers downfield. But they've got White going deep, and they're always going to take that matchup. And the tall Kiwi adds to his goal tally for the game. With 10 minutes left in the game, Black Sheep take a 10-8 lead.
Yeah, White turned around, took a step, immediate separation. Hutchison caught the disc, saw it, and just let fly. That is one of the more reliable plays I think you'll see at this tournament. Someone throwing long to Tom White when he's got separation.
And it's a question as well of knowing timing as well, when which handler is going to put this. And as soon as he sees that that swing's going to go, he's planting and he's creating that separation. So when the handler looks up, he's already seen that there's a couple of steps. And he doesn't really have to think about this at all.
Yeah, definitely how it helps having that cohesion and having being able to ease into things a little bit in this game. Everyone's been throwing long to Tom White. Everyone knows how fast he moves now. Answer fast.
Yeah, it's one of those added advantages of having really long legs. You just cover the ground quicker. He probably has to take half as many steps as I do to cover that sort of distance. I always think being tall is one of those like inherent cheating things, like being a lefty.
I agree. Both counts. being a short writer myself, like you, I'm constantly offended by tall people.
Hey, don't do yourself down, you're not like me. So here's the Ghost offense, that's a nice separation, opening up into the middle of the field. They've got it on the halfway line. But I think, was that tipped on the mark? Nice block there from Black Sheep. They can open up a little bit of breathing room now. Coming underneath, looks for a dish off, instead goes downfield. Oh, just a missed throw. There was a cutter wide open and Ghost looking deep immediately. There's going to have to be some chase to get that one. There wasn't a bad look. There was definitely a window there, but the throw never held up quite enough.
This may be me being harsh, but I think I'd say he was not far from being able to get that if he leaves his feet. Definitely a window. A little bit too far, but that's the kind of opportunity Ghosts need to be taking if they want to get back into this game with not long left.
Swinging it around the back of the Sheep. Downfield. Centers the disc. Lifted off. Oh, cheeky high release flick. Stoppage though. Just trying to work out exactly what the infraction is. Players try and keep themselves warm on the sideline. The disc is going to stay downfield. Looks for the little push back handoff. Just about getting slowed up, and there's going to be a stoppage here for a foul call. Nearly was able to come in and get the block, but maybe just got too much contact on the way through.
Defender did a really good job getting back close to put pressure on the catch, but yeah, a little bit of contact as she made that catch.
We'd still like to see the receiver really run through, but it doesn't matter, she will retain possession. Foul not contested, good spirit there from the South Africans. Drops up a little, but not a problem. Gonna shoot deep. This is exciting. Ah, player has to go up nice and early to try and get the block, and she couldn't get there, and again made the catch in the end relatively simple, and Black Sheep opened up a little bit of breathing room now. 11-8 the current scoreline.
Yeah, she might be a bit unlucky there. Black Sheep player took a really good position, clearly had the advantage, read it really well. Ghost player throws herself at it, she doesn't rush too far away, but nice throw, good score there.
And so Black Sheep they can't rest easy here, obviously. There's still enough time to let this slip away if you're not careful, but with just over 5 minutes left before the cap goes on and a 3-point advantage, obviously you back yourself to win. The question is, can we extend this margin, really improve our Swiss draw coefficient? Every point matters.
That's what Black Sheep really needs to focus on at this point. They've showed early in the game that they can run away with things a little bit if they go start making mistakes. So Black Sheep have got to try and focus on executing as cleanly as they can every time they get the disc. But then we saw Ghost score 2 early points in this half.
It's been a back and forth game. It's been exciting. This is one of the things that obviously the first round is the only round not decided by the algorithm. The prediction contest does that, and it served us a pretty interesting game here, Sean.
It has been fun. 2 teams with quite different styles actually. Ghost, they're trying to get it moving side to side, looking for shots. Black Sheep are being patient, but they're also sticking it very early when they have an option. Ghost still stacking. This might be the furthest one yet. This really takes the disc.
Just trying to give their handlers space to work it through between them, and dominator style offense almost. Someone really wants that reset. Oh, there's a Ghost player who's gone down on the field. Clutching his knee. This doesn't look good. Wouldn't want to speculate on exactly what the injury is. But just slightly wet, damp ground, lost his footing.
Yeah, looks like he made a cut to come back for the dump.
course was getting really far around, so really had to go backwards to create separation. He's going to obviously come off for an injury.
So hopefully not too bad.
So that's the jingle for game over. So this will be the last point. So Black Sheep will take the win. The question is only whether Stay or Ghost to put this last point in.
Who else do we have warming up around here? This is the Colombian team, isn't it?
Yeah, Raza, we saw them have a heartbreaking loss to Denmark on their first game on this pitch.
Really, really tight game. Very entertaining. Still Heist behind us here.
Yeah, Devon warming up for their game against Heidi's as well.
That is going to be a very intense matchup, I would expect.
Both teams have represented their countries at the international and European world stages.
Both fiery as well.
Yeah, they can certainly be that, yeah. Heidi's, of course, a former finalist here as well, so they've got that Windmill pedigree.
That was the final when Schumacher got a world's greatest, I think. Was it?
Oh, I think I remember that one, yeah.
Backed it back in.
So they're just trying to make sure the player down on the field is okay. You can see there the Iggy square in the background.
One thing that is, I think, a positive here is Emma Lothian for Black Sheep. She is a physiotherapist, so useful person to have on the field.
Yeah, he's going to be helped to the nearest sideline. Get a nice round of applause from the players and spectators. Streaming 2 pitches today and tomorrow here at Windmill for every single game round before we move to the stadium field for the finals day on Sunday. Plenty of action still to come before then, obviously still in the first round, and there's plenty of Swiss draw to come before we go into the brackets tomorrow afternoon. I think there's just some discussion here about where the disc is going to be. Shortly after the player went down, there was a huck that went deep, but obviously stop on the injury, so I think Ghost will have possession here just on a high stall count. Hutchison's on the mark. Just to blade it away. Just about get it away on time. And just the player guilty of looking at the wrong sideline, looking at the 3-metre line, or rather the something with his out of use pitch. Yeah, so Black Sheep can put this game to bed here. They're going to try and end it in style, looking for Bertozzi. Goes up, makes the catch with 2 hands. Tries to find a reset. One player clears out, leaves another one free. Blading towards the far sideline. Oh, this is going to float. Well brought down. Trying to find Hutchison, doesn't like it. Instead, looks into the end zone for Galloway, and that is going to do it. Black Sheep will wrap this game up. 12-8 win. It's over Ghost. A fun game, but in the end, the New Zealanders just had too much quality at the end of the game. We do hope that Ghost player who went off as well is okay. We're going to wrap up quickly here. Game's coming thick and fast. So for Sean Colfer, I've been Benjamin Rees, and we will see you on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.